What we do at the very end, we give them the credit for the deposit. Of course, we have the markup and the value, most houses, and then all of the principal payday that accrued during that term. Obviously, that's to our benefit. We just had one today, Kerry. We call it a payday 3 cash out. Literally today. It signed this morning, just wired like an hour ago. It's about a 77,000 payday 3. These average paydays for these deals run from a low of 45 to a high of $250,000, all 3 paydays.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, interest rates. When we last talked to this person, they were at 6% mortgage on a new home. Now they're closer to 8%. What does it mean? What effect is it having? And is it really an opportunity in disguise? Hey, well, we've got Chris Prefontaine here. And Chris is known as the Smart Real Estate Coach. Chris, great to have you back on the show. So what's happening with your business? Things slowing down from the higher rates?
Yeah, good to see you again. Actually, things have, I didn't realize it was 6 when I talked to you, but that's interesting. Things have actually skyrocketed even more so because the more this happens, this being not just interest rates, we'll talk about the other effects, but when this happens, creative becomes high demand because think about it. Rates just went up yet again, right? From 6 to 8 to what you alluded to. When that happens, you've got a bunch of sellers that their buyer pool keeps shrinking, yet they have rates in their homes, perhaps maybe that are in the 2.5 to 4.5 range from, the old interest rates. And then they're coming to us because they can't sell. We buy them subject to their loan staying in place and we live with that nice interest rate. I don't think we're going to see those in a long time. Who knows? But I doubt it. So it's actually booming for us.
So you buy the properties with their, so somebody's got to be pretty motivated to just risk having their credit on the line, huh?
Yeah, or they've already, sadly, may have already got their credit beat up, right? And they can't afford the house. Might be a second home or a job change or whatever. So they are motivated to do so as well. It doesn't mean it's the only pool of sellers we're talking to, but there's a high demand right now. Like literally every week, our students are grabbing properties in those low percentage rates.
So they have to have some equity, obviously, for you to take the home subject to a mortgage, right?
Not necessarily. Great question. So if there's no equity, there's even more reason why they'll give it up and walk away from it. And we love it because we go out and create 3 paydays from that. I think we may have talked about that in your last show.
Why don't you explain that again, how this opportunity arises?
Yeah, because when I came out of the crash, prior to that, 18 years prior to that, like I've been at this 32 years, I knew how to do one thing, do a deal, get paid. That's it. So when I came out of the crash, I said, all right, enough. Let's create more of an income stream here, not a treadmill. So every single deal we do that's in the residential space, because you can do this on any asset class, as you know, we're going to create 3 paydays because we're dealing with buyers who need time. They need time to improve their credit, or they need time for a new job or a new business to open.
Talking rent to own type situation?
Yeah. So they come in with a down payment. It's non-refundable. Then we get a spread of the monthly, and then we get a back end big hit because we usually get all that principal pay down that accrued. So it's 3 paydays, super lucrative. Let me give you a quick example. A rehabber, this is great for rehabbers or wholesales. They get deals, they don't have any room. They go, there's no equity. And so they can't flip it. So they call us, they refer it to us. This gentleman referred us a deal in Massachusetts. He gives us like 6 a year. If it doesn't fit his criteria as a rehabber, the lady owed like $329, and the house is worth about $330. So there's no equity for him. He referred it to us. In about 4.5 years, we created over $100,000 in that thing because of the way we do the 3 paydays. And, I say to him all the time, I'll teach you how to do this. Nope, no thanks. I'll run in my lane. I'll refer him to you. Okay. I'm happy to take those deals. They're great deals.
All right. So explain the first payday number 1.
Yeah. So we are dealing with only buyers, Kerry, as you may recall. So buyers who, they're not renters that maybe someday have a dream to buy. They're true buyers that went to the bank or understand they can't go to the bank and get finance today. They're going to commit the down payment, just like they would if they bought a house and got qualified with the bank. And that's a non-refundable down payment to us. We know then we have a serious buyer. skin in the game.
Mhm.
That's payday one.
Okay. So then basically they're taking the house, they're paying down the mortgage. The bank doesn't care anything about this. How's this work here? Like due on sale and all that?
Full disclosure, I'm not an attorney, right? So, no, the bank. In my experience, if we're paying the bill, the bank's not going to come looking for the house. It hasn't happened to me yet in 32 years because you do what you say you're going to do. You pay the bill that month that it's due. So what happens? We let's say the mortgage is $1,500 to the bank. We pay it directly. The tenant buyer, we call them, while they're in the house to get financing, they're going to be called a tenant buyer, but they're going to behave like a buyer. They're going to pay us, let's say, something in excess of 15. We keep the spread and we pay the bank. Is there risk there? Yeah, if they don't pay, we still have to pay. We're obligated to pay that, but we take a big enough down so we offset any risk on the payday two, which is that little spread. So
is this actually a sales contract with them, or it's a lease with an option to buy?
So with the buyer, we do a rent-own agreement, which includes two parts. One is a lease purchase agreement, which behaves like a lease. And then there's a rider, a separate agreement for the option of purchase. So 2 to 5% of these default with us. It's the inverse relationship with most people who do these incorrectly. They have most default. We only default 2 to 5% of the buyers. But in the case of a default, like we had 2 during COVID, when we go to enforce the late rent or the non-payment of rent, we just handle the lease agreement. We don't bring the option of purchase there. It's two separate things. And so it doesn't muddy the waters.
It's not a foreclosure.
Correct. Number one. Number two, it'd be a whole different case, to your point. Either foreclosure, depending on what state you're in, or it's a civil matter, right, for the deposit. So we just deal with the lease and get them out of the house if we have to.
Right. Okay. And then payday number 3 is when they pull the trigger and exercise the option, which means that I guess you've credited their down payment and all the payments they've made to the purchase price, and at that point, they go to refinance. They get a new mortgage, and you get paid off.
Yeah, almost exactly correct. So we do credit them for their down payment. We have to, right? That's just like they started today and they put it down. We do not credit them for their lease payment. That would sort of take away all their incentive to go get their own loan, right? If they're getting that kind of a credit. So we don't give them credit for that at all. What we do at the very end, we give them the credit for the deposit. Of course, we have the markup in the value, most houses, and then all of the principal paid that accrued during that term. Obviously, that's to our benefit. We just had one today, Kerry. We call it a payday 3 cash out. Literally today. Signed this morning, just wired like an hour ago. It's about a $77,000 payday 3. These average paydays for these deals run from a low of 45 to a high of $250,000, all 3 paydays. So that could be, 18 months to 5-year term for that money.
How do I do this?
The whole process?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do I do it?
So there is no narrative always with us, right? I'm not so naive to think we're the only ones that teach it, but I think we're the only ones that get in the trenches and do deals with the students. The best way to learn, right? Interactive learning. We have an online academy that people can take and run and go do their own thing. Or if they want to get more aggressive or have kind of I'll call it insurance policy for lack of another term, they lock arms with us and we revenue share with them on the deal. So that as things come up, what do? They call us. It's like phone a friend. Boom, they call us or they go on the,
Okay, so how hard is it to find these deals?
Believe it or not, getting easier and easier, right, depending on the market. But we look in the similar places that investors look. We look at expired listings that didn't sell with realtors. We look at for rent by owner, for sale by owner. And then we get into niche lists. I love free and clear. Like this building was bought from a free and clear. So free and clear, no mortgage. They are more prone to, unlike the sub 2 that's probably in trouble, they're more prone to be, hey, I want my price. I owe nothing. I'm willing to do terms, creative real estate. And I want the premium, sure, on the price, but I'll go over time with you. I got a 20-year term on this building when I bought it.
So basically like a no money down deal, or what do you got to put down?
We usually do no money down, and we usually do principal only monthly payments, no interest. 99% of the deals.
Really? And people go for this, huh?
Yeah, because most of them want their number, Kerry. They want that, like this gentleman here, for example, had it on the market for $550. Brokers were coming in saying, I have a cash offer, or trying to broker a conventional deal. He didn't want that. He wanted for trust planning and estate reasons and tax reasons. He wanted owner financing. And so we just solved that equation.
Mm-hmm. So he gets to do an installment sale and not get hit with the whole capital gains up front, but you do have an imputed interest.
Not on all deals.
What's that?
Not on all deals. That's a misnomer too. So if you look up the IRS code on this, I'm not going to cite the whole code, but like over $1 million, yes. Some specific classes, yes, but not primary residence under $1 million. And you're going to see, if you just Google it, you'll see people can see the code on that.
Interesting. All right. Well, you're giving us a lot to chew over here. So tell us costs, what's involved to join your academy.
Yeah. So the academy is just an online platform, but it's a living, breathing, evolving thing. And depending on where you see that, meaning you might be at an event or you might be online, you're going to see that as high as $1,500. There's 12 modules. Like, it's a robust course. I have mentors, Kerry, in our space, you and I, that say to me, oh, Chris, you can cut that course up and sell all these things for a couple thousand each. I don't care about that. What I care about is they get through the academy, they learn it, and then they do deals with us. That's what I really want to do.
Right. So deal flow.
Yep.
It's your real interest, but they got to meet the basic requirements.
Foundation, yeah.
How much money you need to get started in this besides the fee for your academy?
Well, my story is the answer. My story is I came out of the crash with my credit in the toilet and negative cash, right? So that's why I had to buy this way. Now, if you're going to do a lease purchase, do you need any money? No, there's a $10 deposit built into the agreement. So you need some money for signage maybe and a website. If you're going to buy owner financing on a sub 2, will you need a little bit of money? Yes, because remember, we're doing no money down, which means you can't put no money down and have the seller pay their own transfer tax. Most of them are going to laugh at that. So we pay the transfer tax in those cases. So you're talking, $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, not tens of thousands.
Yeah, whatever the stamp tax is and whatever. Yeah. Florida, Texas, it's higher than other states and New York. But you can't do an assignment of the mortgage. So the mortgage stays with the seller, right? Yeah,
always. On all those deals, like sub 2 and lease purchase, the mortgage stays right in the seller's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And obviously, for you to do a deal, they got to be current on their existing mortgage, right? They can't be in default.
Okay, another great question. So on the lease purchase, yes, I have that built into the agreement, but not a lot. I'd say half of the sub 2 deals we do, it's because they need financial relief, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4 mortgage payments behind. But if you're able to do that, you got a couple of deals going, you're a little bit more advanced, or you partner with us, then what happens is you're usually capturing some really nice equity in order for you to do that. You're not doing that for nothing. They leave a lot of equity on the table. They just want relief and out to go. We just did a deal. We cashed it out not too far from here, where the couple split. One was on the deed, one was on the mortgage. They rehabbed it after seeing one of those shows on TV, how to do that. They put it all on credit cards. They were a mess. They were $4,100 upside down. We caught that up, but we also walked into like 60 or 80 grand of equity day one before we created our 3 paydays.
Instant equity, yeah.
The $4,000. I mean, so it's little money.
Listen, you're giving me all your secrets here, Chris. You must have a lot more.
Just a couple, 32 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I had heard about during the great financial crisis, what guys would do. You can assign the house over to a trust and then change the trustee to be the purchaser. And, they were doing it that way, but I hadn't heard it like this way as direct.
My attorney prefers, and nobody can consult the attorney, but we have one that does this in 32 states, because that's key, Kerry, right? Just side note, like if you don't have the right attorney, you're gonna be told everything from you can't do this to, this is illegal, like all kinds of wacky stuff. But then you talk to an attorney that closes thousands of these per year, and they do it quickly and correctly for you. So if you do need to have a good attorney to make sure they're on your back.
Yeah, well, it's not illegal,
of course,
because these people would default, so their losses, I guess sometimes you got to pay the transfer. Sometimes you got to give them a couple bucks too, if it's a really good deal, right?
Moving money. Yeah, moving money. Just think of what we're doing though. It's such a win-win. You get people that are going to lose their house. They're not just losing their house. Their credit's going to be messed up for 7 years if you don't do this with them. So we you help a lot of people doing this.
Got it. And then you catch them up and their mortgage is good. All right. Well, I know that you guys out there are going to want to know how to get in contact with Chris, how to find out more about this. Where do we find you these days, Chris?
Yeah, I'll give you some free stuff. I think I like doing that just because people can do their own research. And if you like the free, then great. Give us a holler. Go to get our free books, bestsellers. Go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Kerry and the number 1, the numeric number 1, wickedsmartbooks.com/Kerry1. I didn't do it on the first time we talked. So I'll give you I do a class. It's like an hour. It's free.
Mm-hmm.
Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/masters class and you'll get a download. I go quickly. I'm from New England, but you'll get the gist of what we're doing. And you'll decide if you want to go further or not.
Okay. smartrealestatecoach.com/masters class.
Yep. Perfect. Yep.
All right. Both in the show notes, this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Hey, you got a question for Chris or myself? Shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. Make sure when you go over to the site, financialsurvivalnetwork.com, sign up for your free newsletter. Chris, always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by here.
Thanks, Kerry. Good to see you as always.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.